Well, this is actually the conversation I'm having with my guest in studio already, Dr. Kuro Court, Third Way Alliance Party leader, and Professor Kivutha Kibwana, former governor from Makueni. Gentlemen, thank you for making time. I'd like to start with your reactions first. Governor, when you see what happened to Governor Mutai, where now the Senate says because of that technicality, the impeachment proceedings don't continue, does that negate the attempt at accountability, or was it really never there to begin with?
Thank you very much, Trevor, for having us, and my brother today to discuss a very important national issue. I think when it comes to technicalities of this kind, you have to be very, very, very careful, because if it is 2/3, it must be 2/3. So if in terms of how at the county level, they thought already they had the numbers. You must have the numbers, because if you don't have, and you have very good reasons to impeach a governor, then you will not be successful. So, of course, usually, particularly for our citizenry, they might not understand that when the law says the threshold is 2/3, it must be 2/3. But actually, I thought there was going to be a different technicality.
Yeah.
Because strictly speaking, I think there is no law to impeach governors. That looks like a very, very drastic statement to make.
Yeah.
Because under Article 181, sub-Article 2 of the Constitution, it says that a law must have been made to impeach governors. And actually the language is shall. And when one looks at the section of the Constitution which says by what time that law should have been passed, it should have been passed 18 months after the promulgation of the Constitution, and it wasn't. So strictly speaking, there is actually a bigger technical point which makes impeachments of governors as of now questionable.
Okay. What are your thoughts, Dr. Hari?
Well, I think, of course, like Prof has said, the Constitution is the Constitution. It says 2/3. That threshold was not met because only 31 of the senators voted against the 47. So unfortunately, yes, we all get away. I mean, this is in normal legal practice. A technicality can actually terminate a case. If it means, therefore, that the charge against Mutai was defective. And if a charge is defective, a technicality can only remove it. Even people bring in legal practice every other day a preliminary objection to say that this does not meet the threshold, of impeachment. If it was subjected to a vote, and for you to proceed, you needed 32 senators out of the 47.
County Assembly.
County Assembly.
County Assembly.
Exactly. But Prof, the issue here is this about vengeance or accountability, in your own experience?
No, it really depends. It depends on what are the grounds that are brought forward against, any governor. And one has to actually look at the substance of those grounds, because the Constitution is clear in terms of has somebody gone against, gross violation of the constitutional law, gross misconduct, or serious, suspected of serious violation of crimes. National law and international law. So I think it's always important. And I remember in the Sonko case, I remember even despite the grounds that was there, I remember, first of all, Senator Mutula and Sakaja abstained. Senator Murkomen then said that we have to be careful how we proceed in this impeachment matters, because we can jeopardize the evolution. But we have to be very clear that when you look at the reasons that have been advanced, they have to be weighty. Because even in the Wambora case, it was very, very clear, that there must be, very serious grounds for that matter. And in actual fact, even a case was quoted from Nigeria, Muyiwa case, where it was indicated that it should not be a political matter. There shouldn't be, politics, because in their situation, Senate had, a lot of power to actually negate somebody who has been chosen by the citizens.
Yeah.
So that is why they must treat the impeachment power, very, very carefully. So there are instances when it is pure and simple, it is just politics.
Yeah.
Like, and I will not even quote my example. I don't want to quote my example.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a judge in my own cause. But I
can speak for you.
In Meru, the Meru case. After, I think it started 3 months after she was in office.
Yeah.
So how can you impeach somebody 3 months into office? For MCAs and MPs, you can't recall them before 2 years are over.
Yeah.
So you can see that sometimes, and then some of the things that were being said about her is, how can a woman be a governor?
Okay.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So you have to look case by case.
Yeah.
Because there are cases where, you can see serious grounds.
Okay.
But of course, it's for Senate to be able to determine
that. But Dr. Kuru, was that an oversight when you were drafting the Constitution? Because that rider is not there for governors.
Which one?
There's no time frame. No,
but you see, that's why Prof has ably quoted Article 181 that says that Parliament shall pass legislation to bring this chapter into effect. Now, it was upon parliamentarians to say, and we provided in the fifth schedule timelines on when these laws must be passed. So the legislature, in my view, went into slumber.
Yeah.
And that's why today they are caught up with this kind of situation. But I just wanted to add one or two things, in terms of whether this is political lynching from both sides. I think you also have a situation where members of the county assembly will just single out, will just show total hatred for the governor. Like I'm sure in the case of Professor Kibwana. And when Professor Kibwana said, you know what, let's dissolve this county assembly, then it was a shocker on them. They realized you have governors actually who, a lot of integrity, are not afraid to leave office. But on the other hand, I think you also have governors who, in my experience, as I've gone around speaking, especially during the Punguza Mizigo constitutional amendment process, where they're saying that if a governor is not in good talking terms with an MCA, his area will be alienated. Will be ignored in terms of development. So that became then the vengeance that MCAs take into the county assembly. And of course, they gang up and say, we want to show this governor the way. But I think it goes further than that, Trevor. Our political discipline is wanting in this country. Our political governance is actually a bigger question in this country. So politics, the way it's being done in this country, is more about commerce. And I'm sure we'll talk about the impeachment of Gachagua and what is now emerging into the open, that money exchanged and now the people regretting. So the question then really is, was this impeachment even worth it? Even in the case of Governor Mutai, did the MCAs actually focus into the provisions of Article 181? What misconduct did you, what is this gross misconduct? And at the end of the day, it's a question of evidence. How you table that evidence within the framework of the law.
We'll come and talk about that, gentlemen, in just a bit, but let's continue.